guys, and welcome to day 4 of my New York diary. Day 3 was a very long and exciting day. We took a walk along to the Flatiron Building, then took the bus on the downtown loop to Brooklyn Bridge, which we walked across, which was fantastic. We then took the boat tour past the Statue of Liberty, went up to top of the rock and saw some spectacular views, and then enjoyed the night bus tour before heading home to bed. Day 4 started off very exciting because we were going to the Natural History Museum. I'm going to start off with a little bit of advice in terms of visiting the Natural History Museum. First thing that I would say is go early. I can't stress this enough. You have to get there early because if you don't, the queue starts to build up and you could very well waste a couple of hours of your day at least standing in the queue outside to get in. On the Tuesday when it was raining, we had decided that we were going to spend some time in the afternoon in the museum. That's when we were going to do it. And we got there bedraggled from the rain and found out that there was a 2-hour wait outside. The queue was right round to the side of the building from the front door, and by that time it was mid-afternoon. There was absolutely no point in us joining the queue and trying to get there, and we were advised by the man at the door that we should come back at 9 o'clock if we wanted to get in quickly. Good morning guys, it's day 4, it's very bright and it's sunny today. We've got a blue sky, look, ta-da! But we are outside the Natural History Museum. There is no queue, look. The other day when we got here the queue was insane, and so, what? Oh! Right. We've got here for 9 and we were so proud of our... What time is it?
Like 9:15.
Oh, well, it's 9:15 and we got here. We're so proud of ourselves, isn't it?
It's beautiful.
We've
had the snow, we've had the rain, we had a great but cold but dry day yesterday, and today we've got sun.
We are experiencing New York in all the weathers, which is great. Anyway, we decided to get up early because the queue the other day was so long that it was just not doable. And we're like, we'll get there for 9. We didn't quite make it for 9, it's 15, but apparently it doesn't open until 10. we
should potentially check this before we set all our alarms for like 6:30 this morning.
We really should have. Yeah. We can to go across the road, take maybe a couple of pictures, have a wee look in the park, and then come back across so that the queue doesn't actually build up, because we really don't want a repeat of Monday.
I reckon we should be porked out.
Yeah, no, I agree. So obviously, as you can see, we got there a little bit too early. We had been warned by the man at the door, however, to be there for 9 o'clock. The museum doesn't actually open until 10 o'clock, but just as a warning, although it doesn't open till 10, the queue really does start to build up from about 9:30. So first piece of advice would be get there early. This museum is incredible. It is so vast and there is so much of it that I didn't get to explore, which makes me really sad. But that's the second piece of advice that I would give you, would be spend a day there, like if you can. Obviously if you're not going to be in New York for very long, then that might not be doable, but if you have the time to dedicate a day to the Natural History Museum, and you are someone obviously who enjoys that kind of thing, so if you are someone who likes museums, give this the proper time that it deserves, because we really only allocated it a couple of hours. We were like, we'll get there for 9 and we'll be there till like 11:30 and then we'll head on because we had so many other things to do. But as it turned out, as you can see, it just wasn't long enough. There was a 3D film showing which you got as part of our New York City pass, so with our ticket we were entitled to go to see one of them. If it's not a part of your ticket, you do have to pay extra, but there were 2 to choose from. We actually asked to go to the Dark Universe one and ended up accidentally going into the wrong screening. We actually went to see the National Parks film and it was absolutely stunning. It is quite long, I think it's about 45 minutes long, so it actually does eat into a chunk of your time in the museum. So if you're not too bothered about that, it is something that will take up some time. If you're splitting your day in half, if you're maybe doing half the day in the museum, half going to do something else, and you're not too bothered about seeing a 3D film, then that is something that I would say you can skip. I personally really enjoyed it. I would say that if you want to spend more time just exploring the exhibitions, that's something to skip. If you've got a full day to spend in the museum, I think that these films are worthwhile because they're really beautiful. At the moment, the Titanosaur skeleton, which is the biggest dinosaur that they have found to date, is in the Natural History Museum, so that's something really exciting, and that was something really fantastic for us to see because you can't actually get your head around the scale of this. It is absolutely enormous. So that was something that I felt very lucky to see, especially since it's been fairly recently discovered. So guys, what you're seeing behind me here is the skeleton of the largest dinosaur skeleton that they've found to date. So it's the largest species of dinosaur that they have found so far. I think they only discovered this a few months ago, but the skeleton is like, oh hello there, what do you think of the Titanosaur? Amazing. It is insane. Look at the size of it. Go and stand in front of it. This is Jill standing beside one of its legs. It's absolutely unbelievable. Some of the sort of taxidermy, there's a lot of taxidermy in this museum, so if that's something that you feel a little bit uncomfortable about, then there are plenty of exhibitions that you can probably skip. There are so many exhibitions about different people, which we didn't get the time to go and see them all, but from different kind of tribes and cultures. There are, you know, various exhibitions that you can go and see. The dinosaur section is obviously massive and absolutely fascinating, and there's a lot about astrology and space, and everything about this museum just made me so incredibly happy, and I could easily have spent the whole day in there. Roisin and I decided to stay a little bit longer. Jill and Lauren were keen to move on and go and get something to eat, but Roisin and I just couldn't tear ourselves away. There was so much that we hadn't seen yet. So we are now in, I can't remember what it's called, the Hall of Ocean Life, and look at this whale. Look at the size of this creature. We've temporarily split up for a little while. Roisin and I couldn't leave the museum yet.
No, it's just fascinating. Like,
yeah, we couldn't go. We couldn't leave just yet. There's too many amazing things to see.
if you're ever coming to New York and you want to do this museum, put a lot of time aside. This has been our mistake. I was like, oh, like, maybe 2 hours or so. No, like you need
Proper
time here.
Like easily you can spend a day here. So yeah, allocate a lot of time for it. Here's a sea turtle, look at him. Oh, and some tiger sharks. When you look straight up at the ceiling, it looks sort of like you're underwater, which I enjoy a lot. We have left it behind now. Oh, hold on. See, I think I did.
Shot of it through the trees and stuff.
Isn't it? What I have discovered in listening to my vlogs from yesterday is that oh, look at that artistic. No, I'm vlogging. That's okay. What I've discovered from looking at yesterday's vlog footage is that I think there's been occasions where I've been putting my finger over the microphone, which is not great. But yeah, anyway, that's not important. What is important is that we had the most amazing time in the museum. It was just, how long would you need to spend in there
like,
to see everything?
I think you probably need to go twice.
Yeah.
Like in one trip, and you get to like full. That's all you're doing with your days.
Agree with
like,
that.
It doesn't open till 10 and it shuts. Well, I think he said it shuts at 5 yesterday.
I think so, yeah.
So it's quite.
Well,
actually not that
saying
short.
That this morning.
2 hours I suppose, but like you could spend from 10 till 5, no bother.
No bother. Like
and go back.
And easily go back the next day. But yeah, now we've left and we're walking through Central Park. We have got a beautiful blue sky today, which makes for a very nice change from the past couple of days. And it's kind of cold and crisp, but it was very warm in the museum.
It was really warm.
Yeah, we've got a lot of layers on.
And I'm just like, oh, I'm finally comfortable.
Yeah, at a comfortable temperature. What we just went off on?
A ramble in front of the ramble.
So what is the ramble? Oh, the ramble is the ecosystem protected area home to many animals, birds and plants. Well, there you go.
There we go. It's one of the top bird watching areas in the United States apparently.
Oh, we haven't stopped it. We didn't really have bird watching on the itinerary, but you know,
we didn't.
If anyone,
having said that, anytime I see a bird, I'm like, oh,
that's true. You've taken some pictures of birds and stuff.
I really enjoy birds. I know nothing about them.
No, neither do I really. But my mum likes birds, so I should maybe vlog some for her.
Just think
what way are we going? We've got a crossroads situation.
We'll go this way because we want to kind of try and go as straight as possible.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. We walked along Park Avenue, we walked along Madison Avenue, we got to see a lot of very iconic streets and sights on our walk from the museum through Central Park to the location of our lunch date with Lauren and Jill, which was none other than Serendipity. An orthodontist? Just, you know, very casual. Haha. Well, where's your orthodontist? Oh, it's on Park Avenue.
Right, between 78th and 79.
Now, Serendipity is one of my favourite films of all time. I love John Cusack, I love the story, I love everything about it. And so getting the opportunity to go to Serendipity for lunch was something I definitely wasn't going to miss out on. Serendipity is at 225 East 60th Street in New York City. It's a really short walk from Madison Avenue, so if you're going to Madison Avenue and doing some shopping and you fancied going somewhere very iconic for lunch, Serendipity is really not that far from there. And I was so excited to go. We didn't book. Now that is something that I would recommend if you're going to go there for lunch or dinner or whatever. Do book in advance because the queue was absolutely out of the door. It was quite fortunate that Lauren and Jill had got there a little bit earlier than we had because it meant that they could reserve a table for us, but you do still have to queue up and there's not a lot of space, so if you leave, you're kind of giving up your right to your table, but if you stay, you're in a very confined, cramped kind of corridor. So I would definitely say book a table in advance. You can call up and reserve, you know, a lunch table for 1 o'clock or whatever. Do that, because if you don't, then you're probably going to be waiting for quite a while. We ended up waiting for about half an hour, I think, which wasn't too bad, but you could have been there for a lot longer. So I would say if you're going to go there, please book in advance because it will make your life a lot easier. This is mine, which is a hot fudge sundae. Jill's is the same as mine but in raspberry. That is unbelievable. It really is, because we've been
hydrated. We haven't had anything since breakfast this morning, which was a cafe.
That was poor planning. Lauren's cake is called, what is it, lemon icebox cake?
Yeah, lemon icebox pie.
It looks amazing. Roisin's is the
Coward's portion
yes.
of the banana split.
This is the coward's portion. I would like to know just what the large portion is. It felt so nice to be in that iconic space from the scene and the scenes in the film that are filmed in that particular cafe. Just always make me happy, and so getting to be on that staircase and sit and see that table, it was lovely. When we finished in Serendipity, we headed back along to Madison Avenue to do a bit of shopping. We had planned to go to a few shops, but what ended up happening was we went into Kate Spade and got stuck there for quite some time. The Kate Spade shop on Madison Avenue is one of the loveliest shops that I have ever been in my entire life, honestly. It was absolutely beautiful, the service was fantastic, the staff were so lovely. I just have to tell you about Susan. She's a woman who works in the Madison Avenue Kate Spade store, and she was kind of attending to us that day, and she just made the whole experience so lovely. She brought us little glasses of bubbly and she sort of gave us our space. She wasn't crowding us, but she was very, very helpful with any questions that we had. I was the only person who left empty-handed, but that is because I'm not a huge shopper, I'm not a massive spender. But the experience as a whole was just absolutely wonderful. I would wholeheartedly recommend going into Kate Spade. If there's any shop that you want to just spend a little bit of time in, it's lovely. The products are absolutely stunning. As I say, the staff were very, very nice and very helpful, and we had the loveliest time in there. After that, we popped to Bloomingdale's, where we had planned to spend a bit more time, but unfortunately we had spent so much time in Kate Spade that we were running short on time, and so we just had a quick look around at the makeup counters, went to the couple of particular stands that we wanted to see, and then headed off to go and get our dinner. That night for dinner we were heading to a lovely restaurant called Who Kitchen on 5th Avenue. It's a paleo restaurant, and so it's all very healthy, very organic. A lot of the stuff is vegetarian inspired, but if you are a meat eater you can get bits and pieces that will suit you. I do eat meat, and so it kind of worked for me. That dinner was absolutely delicious, but what made it even more special was that we were catching up with our lovely friend Leanne while we were there. I don't know if I actually mentioned in any of my earlier vlogs that we were going to be catching up with our friend Leanne, who moved to New York a few months ago, but now we're here having dinner with her, which is actually quite surreal that we're having dinner with you in New York City. It's amazing. She's one of our blogger friends from Edinburgh, and she moved over to New York with her husband about 6 months ago. And so getting to catch up with her while we were there was a highlight of the trip, because A, we haven't seen her for 6 months, but B, getting to see her so settled in this exciting city and living her new life over there was just lovely. So I'll just very quickly show you what we've got. For more detailed information, check out this one's vlog. She'll tell you what we've all got. The menu in this place is fantastic, and as I say, very, very healthy. So if you're looking for something that's a little less on the intense pizza size and you're looking to feel a little bit healthier during your trip, I would recommend going to Hugh Kitchen. It was lovely, the prices weren't too expensive, and the food was delicious. When we had finished dinner, Leanne whisked us off to a couple of really exciting cocktail bars. Unfortunately right now I can't remember the name of the first bar that we went to, but I will ask Leanne and I'll pop it somewhere round about here. But the second bar that we went to was in the East Village, and it was called Mother of Pearl, and it's a sort of tiki bar with gorgeous cocktails, and honestly it was so nice. We each had a very fancy, fruity, delicious cocktail and had a good chat with Leanne and had such a lovely night. These are our cocktails! We have black shot, and I was like, can I have that? Did you not hear her? You did? I know. Yes, that's the and you see your Sorry, I'm just casually zooming in on your cocktail, Roshi. Look at this! I mean, really, this is pretty spectacular.
It really is.
Got to take it. Again, it had been a very long and very exciting action-packed day. So that's it for day 4. If you want to catch my day 5 vlog, make sure that you hit the subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this one, remember to give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll speak to you again soon.